Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks seminerlerine hoş geldiniz. Bugün Langara College'da Eğitim ve Dünyanın en yaşanılır şehirlerinden Vancouver'da Yaşam'ı Gregory ve Onur Bey'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Buyurun Onur Bey, sahne sizin.
Merhabalar, Langara College'ın sunumuna çok uzun süredir beraber katılıyoruz. Kendi eğitim danışmanlığından Onur Değertaş ben. Langara College, Kanada'nın en batı ucundaki Vancouver şehrindeki en büyük devlet koleji. Ayrıca Kanada'nın tümündeki en büyük üniversite transfer koleji. Sertifika ve diploma programları var. Hem lise mezunlarına hem üniversite mezunlarına. Detaylı bir sunum bizi hazırladı Gregory Bey. Onun sunumundan sonra da soruları cevaplandıracağız. Soruları questions bölümüne yazarsanız sonunda hepsini cevaplandırıyor olacağız. Teşekkürler. Hi Gregory, the microphone is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Onur, and thank you, Zeynep. Great to be here. Let me just share my screen here in a sec. Sorry. Okay, my presentation is there?
Yes, we can see it, Gregory.
Great. Okay, good afternoon, or I guess good evening, good afternoon, in wherever you are in Turkey. It's early morning here in Vancouver, and thank you for the introduction, Zeynep and Onur. Nice to be here. This is, I don't know what number I've done these IEFT talks, but it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Gregory Picorni. I'm Manager of International Marketing and Recruitment at Langara College. So I have about a 25 to 30 minute presentation I'll go through, and then we leave about 10 or 15 minutes for answering any questions and discussion. I have about 45 minutes, a little bit of a time constraint, so I will get started. And feel free to write your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A, and Onur will be looking at that as well during the presentation. So I'll start now. Working for Langara College, which is located in Vancouver, and Vancouver is the third largest metropolitan area in Canada, and usually rated as one of the top cities in the world to live in. It's got a nickname as Hollywood North because of so many movies and television and production done in and around Vancouver and BC. And the other thing it's kind of known for in Canada is the mild temperatures. So compared to other parts of Canada, winter temperatures usually hover between 0 and 5 degrees. Could be considered cold depending on where you're from, but compared to other parts of Canada, 0 to 5 degrees is quite a bit warmer. So, Vancouver is a very multicultural city with about over 22% of the people born overseas and now making Vancouver their home, and median age 42 and one of the lowest unemployment rates, and located in British Columbia. So we get a lot of questions when I'm talking to students and parents and wondering why they should consider college. And there's a few factors to consider. One is, and some of these are listed here, including flexibility, choice. Students may not know what they want to study, so there's a lot of flexibility when they start their studies to find out what they like, what they're good at, what they don't like. Adaptability is very important because when you're coming out of high school, it's not so overwhelming. You're coming to a new country, so we keep the class sizes quite small. Grades is another factor because Langara is a community college and we work on an open access policy. So the requirement's not as strict. As long as you've graduated high school, you meet the English proficiency requirement. Even if you don't meet the English proficiency requirement, you can start with LEAP, which I'll get into in a bit. So usually you can gain admission to Langara. Course load, at Langara, there's 3 intakes a year. So students can start in September, or they can start in January, or they can start in May, and they can spread out their courses throughout those 3 intakes. Or if they want to take more courses during 2 intakes and have 1 semester off, that's their choice too. And the final factor is investment. And when I'm talking about investment, I'm talking about the tuition fees. So this is a comparison of tuition fees for different institutions in BC for international students. Now, this is based on last fall, the business program. And you can see here the tuition fees for international students, what the students paid to go to those universities and schools. So UBC, $51,000, SFU, $33,000, UVic, just under $25,000. Langara College for the same courses, because you can transfer, you are paying just under $19,000. So if you're doing 1 year or 2 years at Langara and then transferring to one of these bigger universities in your second or third year, you've saved yourself significant money in tuition fees. So Langara is a public community college. That means government funded, and you're able to work part-time, and you're eligible for PGWP, post-grad work permit. So this picture here just shows like the downtown of Vancouver, and you can see the mountains and the ocean. It's very picturesque. That's the downtown. And if you see this next map, the next slide, you can see where the downtown is, where I just showed you the picture. So you can see at the top of the map is the downtown. And you can see a black line kind of running north-south. That is the Canada line, the SkyTrain line, or the Metro line. So this goes from downtown to the airport. You can see the airport near the bottom of the map. And if you follow that black line, you can see the West Broadway campus, and about halfway down, you can see the main campus. That is the main campus of Langara. And it's a 17-minute SkyTrain ride to downtown Vancouver, 15 minutes to UBC by bus, 15 minutes to Vancouver International Airport, and located in a quiet residential area. And you cannot really get lost because the name of the station is called Langara 49th Avenue. So it's very accessible by public transportation, located in a very convenient prime location. So just some facts about Langara. It's got pretty long history, established as part of BCC in 1970, and there are 3 intakes a year, as I mentioned, and just a short walk to the Langara 49th SkyTrain station. The annual enrollment is about 23,000, so a fairly big college. On any given term, we have 16,000 students, and over 5,000 of those students are international students coming from over 90 countries. Okay, so just some pictures. There's the picture, the aerial view of the main campus, and you can see like the golf course, and you can see the Langara College there, and you can see all the houses, residential areas. And if you look at the top of that picture, you can see where the kind of the tall buildings by the mountains, that is the downtown area. So that gives you an idea of where we're located. And there's the campus map. So the facilities like library, medical clinic on campus, gymnasium, daycare, coffee shops, cafeteria, and so on. Okay, I'll just get into the resources for students. And one of the main centers on campus is the Co-op and Career Development Center. And this is important because many of the programs at Langara do have this kind of co-op career or have this co-op option. So the Co-op and Career Development Center, co-op means kind of work term. So students can go to this center. There's an online job board that's just for Langara students. There's workshops, career fairs, industry networking events, and so on. So it's all a resource for the students to use. And for the programs with co-op, sometimes it's mandatory, sometimes it's optional. It's full-time paid work in your area of studies. And usually this duration is about 16 weeks or 4 months, and you get to apply the knowledge that you've gained, you develop those professional skills, and you submit a work term report. So instead of going to class, you're submitting a work term report, and you're still able to work part-time during your studies. Okay, scholarships. For the scholarships, we have scholarships for the current Langara students. We are in the final stages of announcing our entrance scholarship program, which we'll probably be announcing in the next month or so, and that'll be available from September 2022. But I cannot really mention too much about it because it's not on our website, not public yet. But For the current scholarships that we do have, these are academic achievement based on merit, and it's for all students, international students, domestic students, and they're posted every term. Usually these range between $1,200 and $2,000. Okay, we get a lot of questions about accommodation, and there is no dormitory on the campus, no dormitory, no residence. So all students stay off campus. One option that we do have is the Langara homestay. That means you're living with a Canadian family. Room and meals are provided. There would be a maximum 2 students in a house, so 2 male students or 2 female students, and then you share the facilities. So the price of this is $950 per month. So that is one option. We have a department, homestay department. So if you get to this, if you apply and you get to this stage and you want to check about the homestay, you just let me know, and I put you in touch with the homestay department, and they'll handle the application, airport pickup, and everything. Okay, there's a lot of support on campus. The last 18 months was virtual because we were mostly online, but now that since this September semester, we're now back in campus face-to-face. So the support is both in person and online. There's tutoring, writing help, research, study skills. There's a lot of counseling services for students, ranging from personal counseling, career counseling, academic counseling, university transfer, academic counseling, mental health, and so on like that. Athletics. So Langara does participate in kind of a sports league against other institutions, and these are all student athletes. So the 3 sports are basketball, soccer or football, and golf for male and female. I let you know about this because if you excel in these sports and you try out for one of the teams and you make the Langara team, then there is significant savings on your tuition. Okay, turning our attention to the programs at Langara. So just one note about the pandemic and COVID-19. So, you know, the last 18 months, we were basically online, and Langara has been approved by the government for COVID-19 readiness plan. And last March, our Minister of Advanced Education announced that students would return to class. So from September last month, we have returned to, students have returned to campus and are now learning face-to-face. There are still some online support and online courses available, but most of the courses are in person and online. In person. And we foresee the next 3 semesters, January, May, September, will also be face-to-face as well. So we're planning for that unless something drastic or happens with the pandemic. Okay, so getting into the programs, we have a few different programs, and I'll talk about each of these in more detail. We do have university transfer. That's where you complete your first year or 2 of a degree at Langara. You may get an associate degree, and then you transfer to university. We do have bachelor's degrees, 2 that we have, and a 3rd one that you can ladder into. Career programs, these are 2-year diploma programs. Post-degree diploma programs or postgraduate programs. Langara English for academic purposes. That means for those that need to improve their English, they can get provisional admission and then go into regular studies. So for the university transfer program, this is open enrollment, regular studies. You start at Langara, and then you transfer the credits to complete your degree at a university. We are the largest transfer institution to UBC, and then other institutions as well. So this shows the pathway. So you can start in Langara year 1, then you complete, you can go into year 2 at the university. So if you're going to do 1 year at Langara, then go into year 2 at the university, then you would do 3 more years to get your bachelor's degree. Now you can do 2 years at Langara, complete the associate degree, then you transfer into year 3. So it's either a 1+3 or 2+2 type of transfer. Just keep in mind that many students think that once they transfer, when they transfer to the university, they think, okay, maybe I'm going to start over again from year one. That's not the case because you're transferring the credits. So that's the good point about this, that the courses you do at Langara are counted toward your bachelor's degree when you transfer to the university. So these are all the different areas. I'm not going to read each of these, but you can see the 5 broad categories: arts, business, health, science, technology, humanities, and social sciences. Actually, before I get into that, Owner, you're there, right? Owner?
I am back. Just one sec. Come on. Yes, I am back. I didn't want to interfere with the sound.
Yeah, if you could just speak to your experience. University transfer, because I know you did it. You transferred to a university in Ontario. Maybe you could speak to that. You could talk in Turkish about it.
Okay. Ben de Langara College mezunuyum. Langara College'da okuduktan sonra Vancouver'da veya British Columbia eyaletindeki üniversitelere transfer olabiliyordum. BC Transfer Guide diye bir site var. Derslerinizi alırken, seçerken ona göre seçebiliyorsunuz. Mesela Langara'daki X dersi University of British Columbia'daki A dersine geçebiliyor mu? Direkt kredi olabiliyor mu transferi diye. BC'nin içinde direkt sistem transfer olabiliyor ki Langara bu konuda çok iyi. Başka bir eyalette bir yere geçmek isterseniz, mesela Toronto'da dersleri gönderiyorsunuz, başvuruyorsunuz normal yeni öğrenci gibi. Sonradan kredilerin transferi için bazen ders tanımlarını istiyorlar. Hangi dersin ne içeriği var onu Langara'nın web sitesinden indirip gönderiyorsunuz. Ben 63 kredi almıştım. 2 senelik gibi bir şeye denk geliyor bu. 60 krediyi transfer edebildim. Yani üniversitenin yarısını okuyup son 2 senesini mezun olabiliyorsunuz. Sene kaybetmeden. Diplomanızda da bu kişi kolejden gelmiş, bu kişi direkt üniversiteyi başından bitirmiş diye bir şey yazmıyor zaten. Üniversite mezunluğu. Kolay bir işlem. Bu konuda da yardımcı oluyoruz öğrencilere. Kolej de belli bir şekilde yardım eder. Yes, I explained.
And you explained how because university transfer is done pretty efficiently in BC. If the students want to transfer out of the province like you did, there's maybe one extra step to make sure that they accept the Langara credits, but it's pretty smooth, it's pretty straightforward, right?
They do accept. Sometimes they ask for course description. That's what I explained. And you send that, you download that from the Langara College website. And I had 63 credits, and I transferred all 60 of them. And that's the limit, actually. 60 is max.
So that's like 2 years. So I think when you transferred into year 3, right?
Yes, correct. And I also said, when you graduate from the university, they always ask me, does the diploma say this person came from college? No, it's just the same diploma at the university.
It's the same degree, yeah, right. Okay, thanks for the explanation, Owner. And so basically that is one of the things that Langara is quite known for, is the pathway to university or transfer to university. And as I mentioned earlier, it is the largest transfer institution to UBC, which is located also in Vancouver, and quite a big university, globally ranked. So that is a big that's what many students like to do, and that's Langara is a good kind of foundation or a good stepping stone toward that. Okay, we also have bachelor's degrees. Now I mentioned that we have 3, but the 2 Bachelor of Science in Bioinformatics, Bachelor of Business Administration. We have a Bachelor of Recreation Management that you have to start with a diploma and then you ladder into. So this is where you're not transferring to another university. You're doing all 4 years at Langara. Career programs. These are 2-year diploma programs. Again, you're not transferring. You're just doing a 2-year diploma program, and then you're going into the workforce. So these are very practical, hands-on learning. These are kind of developed with the input from the community, so they kind of closely relate to the local job market. And admission to these programs can be competitive, so there's limited seats, so we always tell students to apply early. The 2-year diplomas, these are some of them. You can see animation, early childhood education, criminology, fine arts, journalism, kinesiology, business, and so on. We do have 1-year certificates. such as internet web technology, film arts, social service worker. Keep in mind, when you do a one-year certificate, the post-grad work permit will be only 1 year. So it kind of matches. But if you do 2-year diploma or 2-year associate degree or 2-year post-degree diploma, your PGWP, your post-grad work permit will be 3 years. So there's a little bit of a difference there on the duration. Now, the post-degree diploma programs or postgraduate, we get a lot of questions about students. They want to do their masters. I get a lot of emails. Can I do my masters? Can I do my MBA? In Canada, master's programs are done by universities, and Langara is not a university, so we do not have master's programs. But what the colleges do have is they do have these higher diplomas, post-degree or postgraduate diplomas. So this is like the college version of a master's, but we cannot call it a master's. It is a post-degree diploma, and they're more kind of practical education. There's usually a work term and so on. It's not so academic or theory-based like master's programs are in some cases. So for the PDD programs, these are an undergraduate degree is required, a bachelor's degree is required. There is usually a work term, and we say apply early because these are cohort-based. There's limited seats. So these are the 10 post-degree diploma programs that we have at Langara. You can see business, marketing management, accounting. Web and mobile app is 2 programs. There's design and there's development. So they're 2 separate programs. One is more on the front end, user interface. One is more on the back end, the programming part. So that web and mobile app is 2 programs. Data analytics is very popular. Health, safety, environmental compliance. Nursing practice in Canada, this is for international nurses. So they would have to be a nurse in your home country and have current licensure. Supply chain and logistics is very popular because Vancouver is a port city. There's a lot of shipping, there's a lot of cargo, a lot of freight coming in and out of the port. So there's a high demand for those graduates as well. And applied planning. So Langara does have English language requirement, and most of the programs at Langara fit into category 2 or category 3. And you can see here for category 2, 6.5 in IELTS academic, category 3, 6.5, TOEFL 88 or 80. If you see the bottom in the red, we are accepting Duolingo online test. We're accepting it for the next 3 semesters. So January 2022, May 2022, and September 2022. For Duolingo, you need a score of 110. Now, for those that don't meet the English requirement and they want to come to Canada and improve their English and then go into regular studies, Langara does have its own EAP program, or LEAP. This is each level or each session is 7 weeks. There are 8 levels. So depending on what level, if you're very basic, then you would start at level 1 or level 2. If you're more advanced, you may start at level 6 or level 5, level 6, level 7. There's 8 levels. And then depending on the program, then you can get admission, provisional admission to regular studies after you complete LEAP. But I would say if you're close to the 110 in Duolingo or 6.5 in IELTS, maybe it might be better to get the score that's required, because then you will save money on your tuition fees. Yeah.
And Gregory, they can take the modules of 2 months each time, 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's about 7 weeks for each level.
7 weeks.
So 7 days. Yeah. So basically, there's 6. I believe there's 6 or 7 sessions each year throughout the year, and they can start in any one of those. We get a lot of questions like, how long will I do LEAP? Well, that will depend on what their English level is before they start LEAP. Right.
Yes, they do ask me sometimes, do I have to do a minimum 1 term? No, they could do just 7 weeks. And they could possibly finish if they have a very good level, just a little under the required one.
That's correct, yes.
Go on. Go ahead. I'll just say that in Turkish. İngilizceniz neredeyse yeterli bir seviyedeyse ama tam değilse, yeterli Duolingo seviyesinde not alamazsanız, LEAP programı 7-8 haftalık modüllerden oluşuyor. Onun için sadece bir modül alıp da bitirebilirsiniz ama ne kadar uzun olacağı, bir modül mü yani 2 ay, 7-8 hafta mı yoksa 6 ay mı alacağınız oradaki sınavın sonucuna ve ne kadar mesafe kat ettiğinize bağlı. Bu güzel bir şey. Yani 2 ayda da bitirmeniz mümkün. Eğer çok ucunda kaldıysanız, Duolingo'dan 110 yerine 105 aldıysanız örneğin. Yes, I explained.
Thank you, Onur. Yeah, so LEAP is an option. I mean, for those students that want to come, it really prepares the students for their academic studies. As I said, depending on the program, they can get conditional admission to the program once they finish LEAP. So it is an option for students. Okay, I'm just coming toward the end here, but I wanted to make a note about what happens after your studies. So there are, the local job market. So in BC and in Vancouver, there's a high demand for some occupations. I've listed some of them here. You can see everything from IT, computer programming, supply chain, which I mentioned earlier. Early childhood educators are in high demand. Animation and film because of the big industry here in Vancouver. Web design, nursing, and so on. And I just want to highlight the Ministry of Labor in British Columbia. They usually put these labor market outlooks, and from 2019 to 2029, a 10-year window, they foresee a high number of jobs opening. Part of this is because people are retiring, and then the economy is expanding. So they expect 860,000 jobs in this 10 years. So if you're coming to Canada, or coming to BC, and you're getting your diploma, your degree, your bachelor's degree, you're going to be graduating right in this middle part of this 10-year window. And so most of those jobs will be for those people that have some such credentials. So looking long-term, thinking about what you're going to do after your studies, maybe you return to your home country, maybe you try to stay in Canada with your post-grad work permit, and then later on for permanent residency, there are a high number of jobs expected. Admission requirements. So basically, successful completion of high school. If you're applying to undergrad, if you're applying to post-degree diploma, then your university degree. You have to meet the English language requirements and any additional program requirements, depending on the program. So for the application procedure, we need, an owner can kind of speak to this because he helps with students that are applying, but we need proof of graduation. So your high school degree or your university degree, your official transcript, and it has to be scanned in color, in PDF format. So no cell phone pictures, no JPEG files, and nothing cut off. And if it's in any other language, if it's in Turkish, then we need notarized English translations. So it's very important that we get the scanned PDF copies in color, and you submit that through the application portal. And then as long as if you have complete documentation, everything is scanned properly, that will eliminate any delays as well. And English language proficiency, like your IELTS, TRF, TOEFL, Duolingo, sent from TOEFL or Duolingo directly to Langara College. These are all also needed, and any additional requirements depending on the program. These are just, you can see here, like resume, portfolio review, reference letter. Depends on the program. They may have some specific requirements. Onur, do you want to talk about this a bit?
The admission process, yes.
Yeah, just about the documentation.
I'll just explain in Turkish.
Yeah.
Başvurduğumuzda Education Planner BC üzerinden başvuruyoruz. Bazı programlar, postgraduate olanlar örneğin direkt Langara'dan başvuruluyor. LEAP de öyle. I said the post-degree programs and LEAP are through you, Langara, not Education Planner BC, right? The other ones are. Am I correct?
Okay, so for all the programs are through EPBC except the continuing studies in LEAP. So
continuing studies would be like supply chain,
supply chain, LEAP, health safety,
mobile
compliance,
like mobile and web development. Okay.
Yeah, most of them are under EPBC.
Çoğu program Education Planner BC denilen bir portaldan başvuruluyor. Sadece dil, o LEAP ve birkaç tane Continuing Studies denilen fakültedekiler Langara üzerinden. Başvuru yaparken JPEG, Word dosyası gibi şeyleri kabul etmiyorlar. PDF olması lazım. Eğer Türkçe ise çevirilerini yaptırıyoruz. Biz yardımcı oluyoruz istiyorsanız bu konularla ilgili. Bütün evrakları başvuru yaptıktan sonra okula gönderiyoruz. Tam bütün evraklar gelmeden değerlendirmeye almıyorlar. Dolmasıyla alakalı da programların konusu bu. Hani şu tarihe kadar başvurabilirsiniz değil, dolduğu anda kapatıyorlar. Kotaları dolduğu anda. Onun için ne kadar erken başvursanız o kadar iyi. İngilizceniz yetersizse LEAP'e yönlendirebiliyorlar. I also said they sometimes ask me, what's the deadline for application? I said when they are at cap, when the program is full, they close. So it's best to apply as early as possible. But I explained all the other documentation part.
Yeah, so as far as deadlines, for business, diploma, and BBA, there are some hard deadline. It's depending on what intake they're applying to. So there are some deadlines that they are on our website. But for undergrad and some of the post-degree diploma, I always tell people to apply sooner rather than later because courses do, especially PDD programs, they do fill up quickly. We open the application period 11 months before the start of the intake. So for example, September 2022, next September, we opened the application period on October 1st this month. So we opened it 11 months before. And, so just keep that in mind. But as far as, any hard deadline for most of the programs, we just keep accepting until they get full.
Birkaç programın bir son başvuru tarihi var ama onun dışındakilerde ne kadar erken başvurunuz o kadar iyi. Özellikle bu üniversite mezunları için olan post-degree programlar çabuk doluyor diyor. 11 ay öncesinden başlangıcını açıyoruz ve emin olun ki çok hızlı doluyor. Çünkü bütün ülkelerden başvuru var. Onu göz önünde bulundurun, unutmayın. I just want to ask you something. In the meantime, can I just paste some of the job bank websites like Job Bank BC, Monster, Indeed?
Yeah, sure.
They ask. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, and so I'm just coming to the end here, but for the Langara College application procedure, once everything is submitted through EPBC or through the fee portal site, evaluation, we are a little bit backlogged right now. Assessment and evaluation about 6 weeks, but it's coming down. So then once you meet the requirements, an email offer letter is issued. If you accept this, then you will pay an initial tuition deposit of $6,000 Canadian. Once Langara receives that $6,000 Canadian, then the official letter of acceptance is issued. Then you can apply for the study visa from Turkey or from your home country. Once you get the visa, the $6,000 that you paid, the $6,000 tuition deposit goes toward your first semester's tuition. And then you will pay as you go semester by semester when you register for courses. So you do not have to pay upfront the full amount of the tuition fees. Now, if the visa is refused, hopefully not, but it does happen. If it's refused, then we need the refusal letter from IRCC and we need a request for tuition refund before the semester starts, and we refund the full $6,000. Now, if you paid the $6,000 and then some circumstance happened and you changed your mind, you didn't apply for the visa, your visa was not refused, then you ask for the refund, then Langara will keep $1,500. So you'll be refunded $4,500. But if it's refused, then you'll get the full refund. There is a $155 application fee that is non-refundable. Okay, so wrapping up, I've talked about different points about why you can consider Langara. It is a public government-funded institution, great location in Vancouver, one of the largest university transfer programs in BC and the largest to UBC. Small class sizes, lower tuition fees compared to universities, a lot of programs, diploma, certificate, career-focused training, EAP. You're able to work off campus during your studies, 20 hours a week, and you're automatically eligible for the postgrad work permit upon completing your Langara credential. So there is my contact information. gpacorny@langara.ca is my email. Owner, maybe you can put your email in the chat box.
Yes, so I'm doing that right now.
Is my marketing assistant. You can also write to her, and you can follow our social media channels. So that brings me to the end of the presentation, and I have about 10 minutes left. I think they can just answer any questions.
And with your permission, may I just go quickly from ones that are things that I can just answer?
Yeah, sure.
From the questions in Turkish, in English, I'll try to do both. Okay, questions.
Okay.
Post-degree program, marketing management and business administration. The differences, I mean, this is going to be a long one, but marketing is generally focused on marketing. Business administration gives you a broad education of marketing, HR, finance, accounting. So
exactly.
Marketing ve business administration, işletme ve pazarlama arasındaki programların farklılığını söylemiş. İşletme genel bir eğitim verir. İnsan kaynakları, finans, pazarlama, muhasebe, marketing, pazarlama odaklıdır. Could you please tell which departments are more preferred? Bunu uzun uzun açıkladı. Hangi programlar daha revaçta? Supply chain dedi mesela, lojistik. IT ile ilgili bölümler dedi. Mesela mobil aplikasyon yapımıyla alakalı bölümden bahsetti. Muhasebe çok revaçta. Bir sürü bölüm var bunlarla alakalı. Özellikle size chatbox'tan iş bulmakla alakalı siteleri gönderdim. Oralardan daha çok istenen iş alanlarını, sahalarını görüp ona göre de hangi programı almalısınız, o yöne yönelebilirsiniz. I said I just posted the job bank websites, the Canadian government's one, private ones. They can check which jobs are more sought after, and they can understand what program they should take at the college, right?
Yeah. I just put in the chat box, I just put the link to the Langara program guide. So all students, all people that are on this call listening, you can click on that link. That will show you all the programs that international students can take. It has information about the tuition fees, the academic requirements, the intakes, and so on, and English requirements and so on. So please, you can bookmark that link and keep that for your reference.
Hangi programların uluslararası öğrencilere açık aldığına dair ve o programların dil gereklilikleri, başvuruları, ne not gerekiyorsa herhangi bir not zorunluluğu, hangi dersleri almış olmanız gerekir gibi bütün hepsini şu son gönderdiği linkten görebilirsiniz. Gregory şimdi bir link bıraktı chatbox'a. Tamamdır. Could you please? Okay. Scholarships not for the first year or very minimal, if I'm not mistaken. Scholarships.
Scholarships, as I mentioned, like we're gonna announce soon entrance scholarship, but it'll be partial based. For the scholarships that we do have, as soon as you've done one semester, you're eligible for the scholarships that are for the current Langara students.
İlk başta girişte bir burs vermeleri çok düşük bir ihtimal ama küçük bir giriş bursu vereceğiz. Minimal olur o diyor. Fakat bir dönem bitirdikten sonra orada akademik başarı gösterirseniz o zaman domestik, yani yerli öğrencilerle beraber aynı burslara başvurmanız mümkün. Bu oradaki başarınızla alakalı. Türkiye'deki değil. Orada başarı gösterirseniz mümkün bu. You don't have dorms, rent.
Okay.
Yes, you go ahead.
Yeah, rent and bill prices approximately. It's kind of hard to say because I mean it can be quite cheap depending on where you want. Like if you're living with some people or sharing, or it can be kind of extravagant, luxurious. It depends, right? So I would say probably to budget for rent, and I would look at around $10,000 a year. But it can be higher than that, it can be lower than that. Yeah.
Konaklama ile ilgili fiyatlarla ilgili bilgi verdi. Yaklaşık $10,000 üstü altı olabilir dedi. Genelde üstü olur. Yeniden bursla alakalı üniversite sınavında gösterdiğiniz başarı Türkiye'de yine sizin burs almanızla alakalı bir faydası olmuyor. Can they work during study? How long they can stay? Eğer arkadaşlarımız sormuş, okuldayken çalışabiliyor muyuz? Okuldan sonra kalabiliyor muyuz Kanada'da? Okurken haftada 20 saat çalışma izniniz var. Ve kampüste, ki çok azdır iş imkanları, 40 saat, ama okul dışında istediğiniz yerde 20 saat. Bir senelik bir program okursanız bittikten sonra bir sene, 2 veya üstünde senede bir program okursanız hükümet size 3 sene çalışma izni verebiliyor. Tabii bunun belli başlı şartları var. Bitirmeniz lazım, belli kurallara uymuş olmanız lazım. Bunları detaylıca sonradan öğrenebilirsiniz. Ama mümkün. Kurallara uyan herkes alabiliyor. GPA requirement you explained.
Yeah, so no, I mean, coming out of high school, there's no GPA requirement. We will look at some marks for engineering. They will look at their physics and chemistry and their math marks, but generally there's no minimum requirement for GPA. When you're applying to post-degree diploma in data analytics, it is competitive admission, so a higher GPA is better for that program. But most of the programs at Langara, there's no minimum GPA required.
Data analitikten bahsetti. Onun dışında hiçbir programda belli bir minimum not ortalaması yok gereken. Someone asked about master's degree. There's no master's. Bu bir kolej, onun için üniversite değil. Master gibi bir programı yok. Minimum English requirement, you said 110 Duolingo if I remember, which is still accepted.
And,
110. IELTS.
Duolingo 110 for the next 3 semesters. Question here, can we work during your study? Yes, you can work. Stipulated on your study permit, you can work 20 hours a week.
Yes, and they asked if they could stay after I explained. Internship, you collaborate with companies, başka şirketlerle çalışıyorlar ama sizi direkt bir işe sokmuyorlar. You don't make a placement for them for the internship compartment.
Well, for some of the programs, that's part of the program, so they do help the student. They will not totally place the student, but it's in the college's interest to make sure they have a placement, right? So they still have to apply, they still have to interview, but they make sure that if it's mandatory for your program, they make sure that you're placed.
Yani direkt bir sizi sokmak gibi imkanları falan yok ama gerçekten girmenizi sağlayacak şekilde o kadar ciddi bir yardım ediyorlar diyor. Ama şunu bilin, onu söyleyeyim, yani sizi bir yere direkt sokmaları gibi bir şirkete öyle bir durumları yok.
So minimum English requirement to apply for certificate programs. Please check the program guide, but basically IELTS academic 6.5, TOEFL depends if it's 88 or 80 depending on which category. Duolingo, as we mentioned, 110 is needed.
Okay. I think we answered all of them.
Yeah. I'm sorry I had to go kind of quick there, but
no, there's no other question.
Yeah.
Finito. Answered all of them.
Okay, well, anyway, I put my email there, and I think your email is there as well. And really thank everybody for tuning in. Again, it's a pleasure to give you information. Please, I will follow up after the fair, and owner will also follow up. And please feel free to get in touch with any of us, and we'll help you out.
Thank you, Gregory.
Yeah,
yes, thank you very much.
Maybe Zeynep, will you close it?
Yes, thank you very much for the great session, Gregory and Onur Bey. It was yet another informative webinar for the attendees.
Biz teşekkür ederiz.
Thank you. Good evening, and I would like to also thank the participants in Turkish. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Chat kısmında paylaşılan mail adreslerinden Gregory'e ve Onur Bey'e ulaşabilirsiniz. Yarınki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, you guys. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.